Good people of YouTube, my name is Spanner, welcome back for some more Death Gates. Okay, let's do some things. So let's get on our ship. And first we'll have to go back to Telestia for two things. So we need to repair the Colossus. The first thing we need is to break the illusion, and we already know the Unravel Illusion spell. The second thing we need is to repair the rune, and we can do that by going up the clock tower, and we need this headpiece. So we'll use the vice on the headpiece. However, it won't fit in between the tongs of the scepter while it's open. So we will tighten the vice and we'll place it there. And now we will loosen, and you twist the screw and slowly the tongs of the scepter begin to wrench apart. After quite a while of intense effort, the stone headpiece falls from the tongue's clutches to the metal platform below. So we now have the headpiece. Perfect. The wedge-shaped headpiece is carved from smooth black rock. On the flat end is a single graven line. So this was made by Clytus the First dwarf, and it's a perfect replica of the original fragment. So now we will go here. The dwarf is waiting for Clytus the First to come back, so what we'll do is we'll wear his robe. You slip the black robe over your body. Although the back is rather torn, from the front you cut an imposing figure.
My lord Clytus, I knew you would return. I have been faithful. As you asked, I spoke to no one about you. I have waited for you to take me back to the Colossus so that we can complete what we started. Take me with you, my lord, please, take me with you.
Do you know the way through the catacombs?
Of course I do. A dwarf never forgets his way, especially through underground tunnels. I could find my way to the Colossus blindfolded.
I certainly hope so. Your eyes are so weak that you might as well be wearing a blindfold.
My eyes are fine. It's just that the world has grown a bit blurry lately.
You look like hell. Are you sure you can walk? I'm not gonna carry you.
These legs will carry me as far as you wish to go. My devotion to my lord will buoy me.
You sat here for thousands of years waiting for me?
I've waited ever since you sent me here. I knew you would return to take me away. I always knew.
I don't understand. Why not just kill the dwarf again? Why banish him here?
Did you make that statue in the clock tower? Is that supposed to look like me?
A statue? A statue? I carve statues of you all the time in your service. You said that it pleased you. I hope I haven't done anything to make you angry. I might have made a statue when I first came here. I can't remember. Forgive me, my lord. It's all so foggy.
What about the scepter it holds? Is it an exact replica of the original?
You spoke about a scepter. Every time we entered the catacombs, you said that you would make a scepter that held the fragment of the Colossus. We haven't taken the fragment yet. How could I have duplicated a scepter that doesn't yet exist? Take me to the catacombs, my lord, and we will extract the fragment you need to make the scepter. I ask only to serve you.
Of course. Come with me now. We shall go there immediately.
Yes, my lord. Of course, my lord. Let us go. I'm ready.
Joints unused for centuries creak and pop as he slowly rises. It's rather disgusting to see how much of his body is left on the cave floor. Surprisingly, he succeeds and walks unsteadily towards you. Alright, So now we will go back to Clytus's palace. You are in one of many passages that run through the palace's foundation. A stairway leads up to the more populated areas.
I thought you might be coming back here, and you might need me. The rest of my people are on their way to storm the palace. I came ahead to aid you. I hope you don't mind. I see you're climbing in the social circles.
He looks at the shambling dead dwarf at your side, and he added this last line with a chuckle. Okay, so now I guess we can speak with Edmund.
Yes, my friend?
So where's everyone else? Where are your troops? Or are you a one-man army?
My people are infiltrating the palace as we speak. As long as they don't have to confront Clytus directly, they'll do fine. His guards have been relying on their ruler to protect them for too long.
You'd think they'd catch on to that secret passage after we'd been wandering through it all day.
Clytus's guards are too complacent by half. Even after our escape, the passage remains accessible. If I had any respect for Clytus's intelligence whatsoever, I might conclude that it's a trap.
The dwarf's been through a lot. Give him a break.
I think he's had a few too many breaks already.
That's all. We'll talk later.
Sure. It's not like I've got anything else to do.
Okay, so let's speak with the dwarf.
Yes, my lord?
Or
Never
let's
mind.
not speak with
Just
the dwarf.
keep it down, all right?
I'll try to be quieter, my lord Clytus.
Let's go into this door, which leads us to the catacombs. We couldn't, well, we could have gone in here earlier, but this is like a maze, and we did not know the way.
The Colossus! Break the rune! Break the rune! My lord commands me!
As soon as you open the door, something lights up in the dwarf's mad eye. He screams, all that. Totally beyond reason, he pushes you aside and charges into the catacombs. The dwarf slams shut behind him, catching his rotted shirt in the door jamb and tearing a piece of the cloth off. His footsteps echo as he runs deep into the maze. The dwarf's screams appear to have alerted the guards at the top of the stairs. You hear some questioning grunts and loud stomping. Okay, so let's take the cloth and we'll go in.
We've got the stinking rebel trapped now. Only Clytus knows the way through the catacombs. He'll be here in a second to track that lowlife down and kill him. You hear me, rebel? You're going to die!
Okay, so the dwarf has run off. However, we have a piece of cloth from his shirt and we have a dog, so let's give it to the dog and he will track the dwarf for us. You hold the cloth in front of the dog, he sniffs at it, then lowers his keen nose to the ground. His ears perk up and he points to the north. You're in a dimly lit chamber within an ancient catacombs. The dog sniffs a bit and then points to the north. You hear a commotion towards the beginning of the catacombs. Clytus is yelling at the guards to stay back and watch the entrance while he enters to take care of the problem. You assume that this means you. Okay, dog points to the north, to the west, to the south, to the west, to the north. The footsteps get closer. From the sound of it, there's only one pursuer, but he's running. He knows these catacombs well, and he's gaining fast. To the north, to the north, to the west, to the north, to the north, to the north, and here we are. A huge stone spire rises from a pool of lava. Its surface is covered with the ancient misting runes of the sartan. The footsteps continue to pound behind you, very close now. So, what we'll need to do is cast Unravel Illusion on the Colossus here. We learned self-immolation for some reason. I have no idea why we would ever need this spell. But let's unravel the illusion. As you trace the runes in the air, you start to sense the wrongness of the Colossus, the crux of its magic. The containment rune was broken and then covered up with an illusion. Your spell carefully unties the deception until the illusion completely unravels and falls away. What remains is a hole in the center of the containment rune where an important line should be. Without this line to complete the rune, it is powerless and has been ever since the piece of the Colossus was removed. So we have the piece. The dwarf is nowhere to be found for some reason. Anyways, let's repair the Colossus, which will in turn seal the magic of Colossus' scepter. You place the copy of the headpiece on the hole in the containment rune. It slips inside smoothly and firmly. The lines carved on top of the headpiece connect with the remainder of the rune and complete the spell. Immediately, the rune begins to glow. It isn't very bright, but you sense that the spell is working. The Colossus' magic is being held inside the spire. None is leaking out as it did before.
Patron, I knew you would be trouble. I should have killed you when I first had the chance. And the young prince as well. It seems that I have been far too generous lately. I'll have to rectify that.
Just as you back away from the Colossus, Clytus himself comes charging into the room. Panting, he stops and looks right into your eyes and says all of that. The sartan lifts his scepter and holds it dramatically in front of his body, but nothing happens. He tries it a few more times, staring in disbelief. The prince laughs, draws his sword and pounces on the confused dynast. Clytus doesn't have sense enough to scream, but looks bewildered by the sword wound left by the prince's attack. He topples into the moat of lava surrounding the Colossus as the powerless scepter falls from lifeless fingers.
So, Haplo, you are a patron. I know about your race. Balthazar taught me well. This should make us enemies, but you have helped me. You have helped my people. Perhaps you did this for your own reasons, but I owe you a debt of gratitude, and I still consider you my friend.
The prince steps over and picks up the scepter. He hefts it in one hand while he holds the sword in the other. He looks at you somberly and says all of that.
I thought that this was my most valued possession. Now I know that I value my subjects, my world, more. I want you to have it, to make certain that you do not forget us. If Abarak is to survive, we must be linked to the other worlds, and you are the only one that can do this. Take the seal piece, go back to your ship, through Death's Gate. Save this world, Haplo, my friend. We need you. Now I must clean this palace of the filth Clytus left here. My people should be in position by now.
He nods, then walks away, back into the catacombs. Okay, we have the prince's pendant. He gave it to us, which has all of the runes worlds, including the last world we need to visit. So we will take the stone seal piece. You slip the seal piece from its honored place, and let's get out of here. Let's do this right now. Let's cast Rune Transfer. On the pendant. Onto the stone. Okay, let's head back to the Nexus and speak with Lord Zar. You produce the stone seal piece while recounting your macabre experiences on Abarak. Quite unexpectedly, instead of focusing on the large number of surviving sartan there, Zar asks you to elaborate on the art of necromancy. He even asks to see the spellbook that chose the spell.
It appears that these sartan have done our job for us. By using necromancy unchecked for thousands of years, they've decimated their own race. I'm sure it's fair to assume that there are only a few stragglers remaining in the other realms, like your Zifnab, if any are left alive at all. The survivors in Abarak don't sound strong enough to resist us. In fact, they are in the midst of a civil war. Once the world is reformed, the resulting chaos will be perfect for our army to walk in and destroy both sides. You've done your job well. There's only one world left, and I hope what you will discover there will be no surprise. Many coffins filled with dead sartan. If you haven't already, take the amulet that your prince was foolish enough to give you and transfer it to your steering stone. Go to Celestra and bring back its seal piece. We're very close, Heplo. I can feel it.
You said that it was necromancy unchecked that killed the sartan. Does that mean you'd consider using it with limits?
Do you understand the potential of that spell? An army whose numbers never diminish, whose members get stronger after they die. What force could stand against it? Naturally, we'd have some other deaths to compensate, but they'll be manageable. After a few skirmishes, the mere threat of our army would be enough to enjoin surrender. Then we wouldn't need to use the spell anymore. Until that happens, there are always losses in war.
Prince Edmund placed his faith in me to save his world. That's why he gave me the amulet.
This is from the race that consigned you to an eternity of torment, and he asks you for help. Are you seriously considering his plea? Look at his situation. His people squabble among themselves like mensch. Even now, they are in the throes of a civil war. Naturally, he wants you to help him. You represent the greatest threat his kind has ever known. He must not have realized what his amulet would mean to us, but it is our responsibility to take advantage of it.
Can't we all just get along, Czar? I mean, did they really consign us to an eternity of torment? I mean, didn't the labyrinth take on a life of its own and changed? Or something like that?
You don't just represent yourself. You are the vanguard for our entire race. Don't let your emotions get in the way of your mission. I'd hate to have to cut it short. Look deep inside yourself. You'll find that you are a patron. You were whelped by the labyrinth and fires of hate. Hate for the accursed sartan that put you there. I can trust you, Heplo, because you are a reflection of me. You are my son, as all patrons are my children.
Have you learned anything new about the 6 sartan devils that you were researching?
It happens that I'm very close to finishing my research. I have linked 4 of the devils to the spells that they were responsible for, and the other 2 aren't long in coming. Unfortunately, one of those 2 created the Reformation spell, so I cannot stop now. That's the spell I really need. The ones I uncovered, the original sundering, something called the interconnection, etc., are useless to me. But as I said, I'm very close.
That's enough for right now. I'd like to talk to you later if you don't mind.
Very well. I'll be here.
Alright, let's go back to the ship and go into Celestra, World of Water. Upon leaving the Death Gate, your ship is surrounded by water. A light from an underwater sun glints off the crystalline domes of orbiting moons. Underneath the nearest, you see an entrance, so you guide your ship inside. Your ship has landed on a beach which rises to a dark cave in the rock wall. A shimmering city lies to the west. You notice that the stone you're holding has started to glow a faint green. It also tingles a bit in your hands. Yeah, so this is the stone Zifnab gave us, and he told us that it would start glowing in the presence of a great evil. So, danger ahead. So this is basically where I was when when I finished recording a couple of episodes and then my audio got all screwed up. Thing I did, I don't know if this matters or not, but I'll fill this bottle with some water. We can't enter the cave. You walk towards the cave, but as you get closer, you begin to feel fear gnaw at your insides. You felt fear before in the labyrinth, but nothing like this. There's nothing around to inspire such terror, but every step you take toward the cave makes you want to claw your eyes out. Before you're halfway there, you've collapsed on the ground. Magic, you reason. It must be magic. Yeah, I tried possessing the dog can't go there. The only place we can go is here. A thick wall surrounds a city-sized glowing dome. In front looms a gate upon whose door is a huge graven spell. You get the distinct impression that you are being watched. And this stone is glowing more now. So there's this rock pile. Some rocks lie in a natural pile near the gates. We can take it. You pick up a rock, then another, until you are staggering under the weight of them all. Finally, your strength gives way, and all of the rocks fall back into a pile, coincidentally resuming their original positions and shaping a new pile identical to the old one. A glowing, translucent dome covers the vague form of a city. And finally, there's a spell. You recognize the spell from Balthazar's book. It is a warding spell designed to keep out foreign magic. Unfortunately, it also keeps everything else out, including you. Okay, so this is precisely where I stopped before. After fumbling about for about 20 minutes, I could not figure out what to do, so I actually resorted to a walkthrough, and it's something that I would not have considered. So which one is this the one? Yeah, leather-bound collection of notes. So here is Balthazar's journal. He mentions a warding spell. Let's see if I can remember exactly what to do. Let's see, warding, possession. This is possession. No, wait, what? Oh, no. The warding spell has a long history. It can only be cast by a group of very powerful sartan. The spell creates a huge field that repels any foreign magic. I remain uncertain as to its original purpose. The diagram of its rune structure follows. So this is wards. Using this as a base, I experimented by adding variations of runes onto the end. The process was long and tedious, but as it happened, only one rune was needed to fashion an altered spell. The diagram of the new spell follows. And this is possession. The result was the possession spell. Okay, is there anything else about wards? I discovered an obscure warding spell of awesome power. One wouldn't think that a warding spell could be manipulated into a possession spell, so this is the warding spell of Balthazar. Let's actually take a look at it on the on our spell screen here. Wards. So this is the identify rune. It's a little spiral, a loop, and something there. The rune, a little spiral loop, and the something. No, I know what I've read about this, but I don't quite understand it. So these rune bones that we got from the gamblers are runes that Balthazar uses. And one of these... Is this the same? Yeah, it's the same from Balthazar's book. The walkthrough mentioned an altered ward spell where we transfer one of these runes onto this spell. I don't quite get it. There's the identify, there's the kind of like spiral, there's the loop, and there's the cross with the bendy thing, with the curvy point. Yeah, it is the same. So I'm curious, where do I find the information that Balthazar has a different ward spell? I don't quite get it. Why is it obscure? Started by taking some basic runes and building onto them. Many of the standard spell bases turned out to be dead ends. I did discover an obscure warding spell of awesome power. One wouldn't think that a warding spell could be manipulated into a possession spell, but forceful spells are sometimes born from the most unlikely sources. It can only be cast by a group of very powerful sartan, creates a huge shield that repels any foreign magic. Yeah, identify, curvy, spiral, loop, and thing with the curve. Using this as a base, I experimented by adding variations of runes onto the end. Only one rune was needed to fashion an altered spell. Well, maybe I read the thing wrong. Maybe I misread the walkthrough. What if we need to transfer a rune here to break the spell? Huh? That makes sense. I mean, only one of these runes, which is this one, fits here. So if we put a rune here that does not work, it will probably break the spell and dispel the magic dome. So let's try it. Maybe that was it. Rune transfer. You transfer the symbol from the rune bone onto the city gate. Immediately the rune appears at the end of the spell, modifying it from a powerful ward into a possession's... Oh! Okay, I modify it into a possession spell. Okay, oh, so this is... okay. Got it. Since the possession spell has none of the qualities of a warding spell, indeed is a very useless spell to place upon a city gate, the magic dome falls away to reveal the glistening capital city of the Sartan. The sight takes your breath away. You find it very hard to regain your lost breath as you are struck by a wave of terror. All the glimmerings you've experienced before this are nothing compared to the fear that grips you. You've never ever been so afraid. The sheer emotional impact throws you to your knees. Blood rushes in your ears. A shriek emerges from the depths of your being. In the labyrinth, you always used your fear to advantage. It made you quicker, smarter. This fear is unreasoning. You can't control it, you can't use it. You don't even know what's causing it. Oh. Wild-eyed, you almost break your neck swinging your head around, trying to spy the source. It isn't long in coming. A black, taloned claw strikes your back and sends you sprawling into the sand. You twist around, but cannot rise. You stare into the blood-red eyes of a dragon. They show you your death and you can but gibber in response.
Ah, a patron. I hope that if I let you live and watched for a while, you would succeed where I have failed for so many years. And you have. You have opened the city to me. My magic was useless against that infernal spell. But you understand those mystic runes. You changed it somehow. I am grateful to you, patron. In return, I will give you a quick death. Painful to be certain, but quick.
You find that words completely fail you. You lie helpless, trembling under the claw of this dragon. He rears back, inhaling. Flames leak from his nose and mouth. When he appears about ready to loose his fiery blast, something catches his eye. Immediately, he curtails his attack to stare at the brightly glowing stone that Zifnab gave you.
What is this? This wasn't made by that puny rune magic that you use. How did you come by it?
You can't even form the first word of an answer, and it seems that this dragon doesn't really expect one. His other foreclaw reaches out and delicately removes the stone from your possession. He draws the stone up to his eye for closer inspection. In reaction, he hisses and roars and waves his neck back and forth, wildly, sinuously spouting flame everywhere.
This should not exist! It is impossible! There is only me, Sangrax! I am the way! You don't mind if I relieve you of this stone, do you? You will certainly have no need of it shortly.
His eyes narrow and fix on you once again. When he speaks, his voice is more controlled. He tosses the stone away. It falls on a pile of rocks of similar shape and size. The only way you can distinguish it from the others is by its shine, which is like the sun. Suddenly, you take notice of a furry form splayed on the ground. You realize that your dog has been silently crawling towards you on its belly, braving the aura of fear that keeps you helpless. Every inch is a struggle, and it seems that at any second the dog will bolt, but it keeps coming. When it gets near, a quiet whimper escapes its throat, barely audible, but loud enough to attract the attention of the dragon.
This is your rescue? A life form lower than yourself? I will give it this. The dog is certainly braver than you, patron.
The dragon rears back and fills the cavern with laughter. This gives the dog just enough time to crawl within reach. It looks at you plaintively, even puts its muzzle into your outstretched hands.
Perhaps the dog is wishing you a fond farewell. It knows what is about to happen. I was simply going to kill you, but I've reconsidered. I won't merely end your life, patron. I will eliminate every trace of you. I am going to destroy your soul. You will no longer exist on this or any other plane. You should not have brought that stone into my presence. Prepare yourself for oblivion, patron.
The dragon rears back again. You assume that no distraction is going to keep it from completing its task this time. You take one look at your struggling companion and draw some strength from his bravery. You might have the wherewithal to do something, if only you can figure out what to do. Alright. I'm going to stop the episode right here. Cliffhanger, so next time we will figure out how to solve this. So thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed some more Deathgate, and as usual, don't miss the next episode, because I won't. I will see you all next time.